Does the empty nest period highlight the physical distance between couples? Let's watch a psychologist analyze the sex life of mature adults. When children leave home during the empty nest period, not only do parents need to adjust their mentality, but marital issues that have been obscured by raising children are also prone to emerge, and the sexual life between couples may also be one of the problems. It is the first time for everyone to get older, and they realize that the sex life of older people is actually different from when they were young. How to improve mutual satisfaction? It should be something the two of them can figure out together. Elsa and Mitch, a couple in their 50s, came to me in the fall when their daughter was applying for college. This harsh level seemed to bring out the worst in both of them. Filled with resentment, Elsa asks Mickey for more support and intimacy, but Mickey is obsessed with work and, despite feeling guilty, still resents his wife's demands. Mitch assumes that Elsa will supervise her daughter's college applications, but Elsa and her daughter have highly sensitive personalities, and they constantly irritate each other. As the children leave home during the empty nest period, marital problems gradually emerge. I think Mitch's stance is a bit of a shirk, and as far as I know, the resource and emotional storm that college applications creates requires a whole family to work through, and it's at least worth his sincere concern. But the strange thing is that while Elsa is guiding her daughter to leave home, she also spends all her energy in detailing all the ways Mickey treats her indifferently. Is she seeking attention to deflect the thankless parental responsibilities that come with this stage of her life? Elsa's cascading hair and slender figure show that femininity is her focus. Mickey had a low-key demeanor, and you could tell it was to balance his experience of being often the most handsome man in the room in his life. They looked like the kind of people who spend a long time in their lives being envied by their sexual attractions, and I wondered if that might be some aspect of their predicament. No sooner had she thought of this than Elsa made it clear that she was angry at Mickey for breaking their years-long ritual of going to bed at the same time. "You just don't prioritize our time together," Elsa accused with a slightly sad tone. "Is it so difficult to understand with your heart that I just want a little care? We always have to have someone guard the door to make sure our daughter gets home safely," Mickey said coldly, implying that Elsa only thought of herself. "I don't care about this kind of thing now. After my daughter leaves home, there will be nothing left between us," she emphasized her tone. Elsa's focus on romance seems a little too intense to me, given their current parental roles, but she is simply, like many, worried about the black hole of emptiness that will open up in a marriage when their children leave home. She is better at talking about her troubles in this area, but in fact, the two of them express the troubles they encounter in their intimate lives in different ways. Mickey's lack of romance makes Elsa feel rejected, while Elsa's overinflated and stubborn romantic expectations make Mickey feel heavy. They know they are physically and emotionally distant from each other, and bickering over parental responsibilities is just a cover-up for this anxiety. Troubles of middle-aged couples. As they get older, their sexual desire has also changed. As I began to analyze their disappointments, a common age-related problem emerged. In their relationship, their sexual life most of the time follows the rules formed by his sexual desire. He really wanted it, so she could feel desired without having to take much initiative. But when Mickey's libido decreases, Elsa loses her balance, and she becomes anxious and demanding. Mickey is quietly turning away from sex, perhaps even giving it up, a trend that is at least as common in middle-aged men as it is in middle-aged women. He almost stopped expressing affection for fear of raising expectations for sex. In this way, the feeling that troubles them is no longer a temporary psychological adjustment, but more like an existential crisis. Mickey and Elsa are not unique. Many people are stuck in a particular idea of their partner's sexual desire. Most people tend to adopt an ideal heterosexual sex model. A man can have a reliable and long-lasting erection at any time. A woman's sexual desire must be actively aroused by a man, and a man's sexual interest is maintained by a woman's physical charm. This model will become increasingly difficult to maintain as people age and feel unable to achieve their goals. When a man's sexual desire decreases or his physical strength is low, women begin to worry that they are not attractive enough. Men worry about virility and sexual performance, while women worry about femininity and physical attractiveness. Sociologists have observed that the reason why this brings distress to couples is that their sexual life can no longer follow the pattern defined as youthful, thus causing anxiety. The horror of fading physical charm and youthful energy is daunting. This was further emphasized by viewing vaginal intercourse as an achievement driven by male desire and female desirability, and people sought ways to rejuvenate their health. Viagra was marketed as a savior of sexual function, but it could not improve sexual desire. And the beauty industry, including plastic surgery, could deal with the problem of women's lack of attractiveness. Being beautiful when old is gradually understood as a norm used to maintain youthful charm and gender. It is worth mentioning that the troubles caused by age-related changes in sexual desire are more significant in the 40s and 50s than in later years, because during this period, the sexual desire norms of youth begin to conflict with the reality of aging bodies. Although the outlook may seem bleak, research shows that sex remains an important factor in relationship satisfaction at all stages of life. Between the ages of 45 and 50, 80% of men and 75% of women believe that sex is important for a happy relationship. By the age of 70, 66% of men and 50% of women agree. As they get older, men and women can view sex equally. The frequency of sexual intercourse decreases with age, but if a person's health and sexual self-esteem are good, age itself does not lead to a decrease in sexual desire. And contrary to the often heard sexual burnout hypothesis, whether men or women have been married, length of marriage does not predict whether sexual desire or sexual frequency will decrease. In fact, there is evidence that sexual satisfaction often makes couples happier in their marriages and makes them stronger. The causal relationship between sexual satisfaction and marital happiness holds true for both men and women. So, sex is still important to many couples, and sexual desire has not gone away. Of course, a certain type of couple may agree that they do not want to be a sexual couple, but some of these couples may face the shock and distress of finding out that one of them has broken the agreement. Elsa and Mickey both know that sex is important to them, but they haven't yet figured out how to escape the long-standing masculine tradition of male initiative. Trying different methods can sometimes be scary. Everyone has their own methods that they are used to, but the wonderful thing about the relationship is that even if it is a small thing like sesame seeds and mung beans, trying different methods can be very effective. Almost every spouse who still has feelings for their partner is moved by their partner's willingness to take risks. What matters is the courage to try. In the case of Elsa and Mickey, I approached both aspects at the same time. One is to accept that educating teenagers requires a lot of time and may not be rewarded. They all seem to want to escape from this. Mickey uses work to escape, while Elsa escapes through a slightly exaggerated desire for attention. On the other hand, it helps them get out of the state of avoiding sex and move towards exploring sex. When it comes to age-related changes in sexual desire, a helpful finding is that as we age, men and women gradually begin to view sex on an equal footing. Men will find that a sexual pattern that is no longer purely purpose-driven has the opportunity to bring about more emotional connections, while women have always been more accustomed to variable sexual responses, that is, sometimes excitement, sometimes subsidence, and now she can use empathy, using this awareness to accommodate men's more varied sexual responses than in the past. As women grow older, they become more comfortable expressing their sexual needs. This is an opportunity for men, not only because they always hope that their wives will be more proactive in asking for sex, but also because their wives' sexual impulses can serve as a source of sexual stimulation for them. Treat mature sex life as something that both of you can figure out together. If couples form an intimate partnership in this way and interact with each other, they can put aside their inhibitions and constraints on sex and cooperate to please each other. The spirit of cooperation involves the use of various methods of rousing sexual arousal without being particular about which method is necessarily better. In a sexual relationship with a fixed partner, there are generally 3 ways to stimulate sexual desire: partner interaction, self-narcissism, and role practice. Partner interaction is a recognized and common method. That is, being sexually roused by the appearance, touch and behavior of the other half. Narcissism is accepting touch and focusing on the feelings of one's own body senses, while role practice is through one's private imagination fantasy, or the arousal of sexual urges through role play and props. sex becomes boring, often because of self-imposed limitations, and regarding partner interaction as the only source of sexual stimulation. Therefore, the solution is to change the way of stimulation. Viewing the current state of their sex life as something they could figure out together mitigated Elsa's complaints and Mickey's avoidance. Soon, as if a goddess came to protect middle-aged women in the 21st century, Elsa's recently divorced sister convinced her to include yoga in her exercise program. Elsa thus joined the ranks of 14 million yoga practitioners over the age of 50. Practicing yoga gave her the sense of belonging she longed for. In the past, Elsa was prone to irritability and madness, and she felt confused and restless when alone. The peaceful atmosphere between classes, the ethereal music, and the instructor's soothing voice all helped soothe nerves. Yoga also filled a gaping hole she felt growing in her family life, giving her a path to spirituality and access to a deeper sense of self-compassion. Finding inside-out awareness, affirming the feelings of the moment, balancing exertion and relaxation, and exploring body tension. These have greatly improved her daily happiness and become a good anti-stress medicine. In addition to its many benefits, yoga also became a medium to regain sensual satisfaction, helping Elsa enjoy physical pleasure with new confidence and composure. Specialized yoga clothes also seem to have a magical power, making her feel cute and sexy. Websites such as Yoga Pants Girls and widely circulated semi-objectified images of various women in activewear have added to the spice. Besides, it doesn't hurt that every Tuesday morning class, led by a 28-year-old yoga instructor in a tank top, who takes the task of adjusting a woman's pelvis very seriously. But most importantly, the actual practice of yoga allowed her to focus, and adjusting her breathing also made a big difference in her physical and mental state. The key is breathing, she told me. I was pleased to see that the wisdom she gained from yoga replaced the obvious resentment she had felt when she needed so Michi's attention. Yoga has made me a better partner, she said one day, because I'm more willing to listen. She who once lamented that Mickey wasn't romantic enough now asks if Mickey would accept candles, essential oils, and exotic scents. Mickey even agreed to go on a couples-only mindfulness yoga vacation.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.